Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 News. First at 4, I'm Whitney Ward. We are starting off with breaking news at this hour. Police have discovered the body of an 8-year-old girl in a coffin in the back of a U-Haul truck. We are now learning 2 people have been arrested in connection to her death after officials say they traveled from Airway Heights to South Dakota. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is joining us live right now from Airway Heights with what we know about this investigation right now. Kyle?
Well, and Whitney, a very active scene in this Airway Heights neighborhood on Reading Road, which is just a stone's throw from the Spokane Tribe Casino. You can see all this yellow crime tape behind me, and the major crimes bus. We're told that they're in the process of getting search warrants to enter this couple's home. And it's important to note that couple has not been charged with murder. We don't know how the 8-year-old girl died, but her father and his girlfriend are in custody in South Dakota, charged with failure to notify law enforcement of a death of a child. Now, according to police, 28-year-old Alexander Kermoyov and his girlfriend, 33-year-old Mandy Miller, traveled from Airway Heights to Mitchell, South Dakota with the body of Miller's 8-year-old adoptive daughter. The two were found at a house in Mitchell with a U-Haul tow behind the trailer. They told police there was a coffin in the back with the body inside. Now, according to police, Miller told them that her daughter died on September 10th. She did not seek medical care, and the two were held onto the body because they, quote, wanted to spend more time with her and they were afraid that they would get in trouble. So Airway Heights police are now working with Spokane County Major Crimes Team, and we did speak to one detective just a few minutes ago. He says they do expect an autopsy will be done on that child to determine how they died. So still a very active scene here in Airway Heights. We're going to keep following this developing story. We'll report back as soon as we learn more. Whitney?
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. And also developing tonight, a man was killed during a standoff with police in Pullman. KREM 2 News has been on the police since about 6 o'clock this morning as we've covered this story. KREM 2's Janelle Finch is joining us now live from the scene with reaction from students. Janelle.
Well, Whitney, I am down here in Pullman right now, and like you said, our crews have been on scene since 6 a.m. this morning, and the crime scene is just right below me, and there is a SWAT car still here. There is crime scene tape still up. Around 3 a.m. this morning, Washington State University students were told to shelter in place while SWAT investigated an active scene just south of campus. That shelter in place has been lifted, but we spoke to students today who say it was a very scary situation to be a part of.
As a student, it's very scary. You don't really know, who people are sometimes, especially it being a really big school. So you never really know if you're close to danger or, where the safe places are on campus. So it's very startling and very scary for sure.
Or commands and was shooting a gun in the apartment. After the suspect would not comply, a SWAT member shot and killed him. Students living on campus nearby say it was scary to know they were so close to an active SWAT situation. As you just heard, we spoke to a student who described his feelings when he experienced that situation just steps from campus. An hour and a half later, after the university told students to shelter in place, they were told the situation was all clear. Still, students say this situation, on top of recent murders in Idaho, have made them more aware of their surroundings. One student even told KREM 2 because of recent events in Idaho and now the SWAT response near WSU, she's planning to move to the other side of campus. At this time, Washington State Patrol is taking over for further communication. Officials tell us they are working to provide a release with more information later today. In Pullman, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Janelle, thank you very much. And of course, just a few short miles away in Moscow, Idaho, police are still looking for a suspect in the murder of 4 University of Idaho students. Police providing an update on their search for a white Hyundai Elantra. Today, they believe that it was near the King Road home at the time of the murders. Of course, that home is where those 4 students were found dead. Officers believe whoever was in that car could have critical information to help solve this case. Tonight, Moscow police say they have sorted through 22,000 registered 2011 through 2013 Hyundai Elantras that fit into the search criteria. Investigators are also sorting through significant amounts of video content. They have received valuable leads, they say, regarding this type of vehicle.
Asking residents, hey, if you have video or if your neighbor has video, let us know so we can get a copy of that. We understand that video has a finite life and sometimes systems will start recording over themselves. So we started that process very, very early in the investigation.
The police captain says through the tips they have received, police have identified some patterns that lead them to believe the occupant of that car does have information, again, that could be critical to this investigation. So again, we want to bring to you that tip line. If you have any information about that vehicle or anything else regarding this investigation, contact the Moscow Police tip line. The number is 208-883-7180. You've got an email address there as well. You can send that information there as well. Now, coming up here in about 10 minutes, the victims' families after that murder at U of I continue to search for answers. We are sharing what one family is doing to receive more accountability and communication from investigators. In the meantime, though, we want to turn to weather. Also, a very big story right now. There's a lot still up in the air in terms of how the forecast is really going to shake out over the weekend. We want to get straight to our chief meteorologist, Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy?
Whitney, yesterday I said it's not possible to get both. I kind of have to walk that back. Right now, it's kind of looking like we might get a little of both as we head into next week. The next couple of days, more of the same. Right now, fog not taking over downtown, but you don't have to go far to find reduction in visibility. Look off in the distance. That's kind of the case across much of the region. But with that fog, we haven't heated up much, we haven't cooled down much, and so we're all kind of in the mid-20s yet again today. Sandpoint, Deer Park, you're in the 20s, where yesterday you were in the teens. Lewiston, just barely above freezing. Visibility down to about a half mile in Airway Heights. Looking good in downtown and over in Coeur d'Alene, up in Sandpoint and in Deer Park as well. Notice Omak, zero visibility. We do have a spot that I think winds up clearing out and seeing some sunshine tomorrow, and I think that's off to the north. You get north of Deer Park up into Colville, Chewelah, Republic. I think you're going to wind up seeing a little more sunshine throughout the day tomorrow. Next couple of days, well, we're going to start to see that shift in the weather pattern. Notice mid-20s each day. Here's what I think happens. See this big ridge building over the top of us? This right here is kind of the way our jet stream goes. And that ridge builds over, but eventually we wind up starting to see this break down and storms take their aim at us. So what winds up happening is storm after storm tries moving through. We get a little bit of it, but with the jet stream set up where it will be, I think what happens is lows stay in the teens or upper single digits, and daytime highs in the 20s. So not as bad as it could be on either the snow or the cold.
All right, well, we'll hope for that. Thank you very much, Jeremy. And a major update this afternoon on the Thor Freya construction project on Spokane's Lower South Hill. Officials are beginning to wrap up their work and starting to reopen some of those streets. The project was expected to wrap up by the end of November, but then the cold weather came in quickly and snow also caused some delays. Construction started back in March and was expected to only last about 6 months. Another sign of growth here in the inland Northwest, the Spokane Airport celebrated its groundbreaking for a new aircraft service facility. It's going to be called the Aero Center Spokane, and when completed, it's expected to have about 27,000 square feet of hangar space and 6,000 square feet of office and lounge space. The new facility will provide airplane fuel, maintenance, de-icing, and catering services. The Spokane Airport CEO Larry Crowder says this new project will bring more aviation traffic to the Spokane Airport.
One, obviously, is job creation. There'll be a number of jobs created here at this development. But I think the other is just adding to that transportation infrastructure support that we need in order to keep growing our economy.
The Spokane Airport hopes the new facility gives them additional competition in the aviation market. Airport officials say they expect the facility to be fully completed by the end of 2023. In other top stories tonight, the source of an oil leak in Lake Coeur d'Alene has now been identified as a bulldozer that fell into the lake 30 years ago. It fell in back in 1990 during some I-90 construction. The bulldozer was never removed at the time for fears that it could damage the lake bed. Crews are now working to contain any potential leaks. Look at that, they were out in the water. Divers say now those measures are gone, which is likely the cause of the current leak. Spokane police arrested another suspect for 2 armed robberies that happened in downtown Spokane last week. A 17-year-old man had already been arrested by officers on first-degree robbery charges, and a violent crimes task force has been investigating those 2 crimes. Police are still trying to find additional suspects who may be involved. Just about 3 months after filing a lawsuit, a group of neighbors from the West Hills area are now scheduled for their first court hearing. It's set for 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. Back in September, neighbors filed a suit against the city of Spokane, Catholic Charities, Empire Health Foundation, and others over plans to open 3 homeless facilities in the neighborhood. The group Spokane for Safe Neighborhoods claims in the lawsuit there was no public process involved, no public hearing, no land use approvals issued, and no environmental review of the impacts and potential alternatives. So we'll make sure to bring you additional information as this story develops. All right, Snoop Dogg is playing at the Spokane Arena tonight. Those tickets are actually still available for purchase. The concert is part of his Holidays of Blaze tour. Other artists joining him are T-Pain and Warren G.